Hello, and welcome back to the Sacred Light Collective podcast. This is Ali, and I am so excited to have you here. I wanted to first start by thanking all of you beautiful souls and my dear friends who reached out to me after last week's episode, where I somewhat vulnerably stepped into the space of channeling kind of off the cuff, live, so to speak, through the episode. And it really just was so beautiful to receive and to hear how it had been received by you. And it was a bit of a confidence boost. I didn't really realize at the time how vulnerable I felt in posting that episode. And I probably didn't kind of give myself enough credit for that, enough space for that. And it's been an interesting week. And when I was thinking last night actually about what I wanted to speak about on this week's episode, it came to mind to share some of the journey that I've felt this week. It's been very contracted energy. I have felt physically heavy, headaches, like my body and my mind have been throwing everything at me. And it was really interesting because when I woke up this morning, or even partway through the night, I am quite an active dreamer. And I had a dream that I'm going to share. It's a bit of a story time, this episode, bit of a story time. But I'm going to share that dream because it landed for me just how much that all fit together. So it was kind of interesting that I was thinking about what I wanted to speak on. And then this dream really tied up perhaps that theme that was coming through. And I'm feeling that there might be an opportunity for an activation. Well, not even an activation, but I really feel like I want to offer some light codes, some healing support and transmission around releasing some of the fear. There feels to be a lot of fear in the collective, or has been over the last week. I will say with the new moon, there has been a shift of that. And, personally, I've been feeling that as well. Personally, the change. I mean, 2023 was always building to be an expansive year for me. And while that has been the theme since pretty much 2020 for me personally, this year I knew I had some new projects in the works, some co-creating opportunities, and I knew that they were pushing me to the edges and past my comfort zone. And that's kind of where this week had been leading to. And little did I know that in choosing to play and share the channeling, which is something that I am still getting comfortable with and still find, I guess, a little uncertainty around what's coming through, and is it me, or what am I actually channeling, and will people receive that well? Will they like what they hear, and will it be in service? Because ultimately everything that I create comes from this place of wanting to be in service. And yeah, it was really interesting that it took me a little time to hit publish on that podcast. And I think that it was interesting timing because I had building up at the end of the week, just this last weekend past, a couple of opportunities to step into space and to step into my own leadership. And as much as my soul and my higher self was a big yes, my mind and my body were not so keen. And I'm sharing this too because I feel like this experience too has really helped me narrow a little bit more into the role that I have in the work that I do, in the service that I offer around really supporting the physical body, supporting the physical form, and allowing some of the integration from our higher self, from our spirit, to be received by the body. I think it's easy to do a lot of work in bringing the spirit to the body and being aware of your spirit, your higher self. But we need to be able to also support the body to receive that, because quite often, I have weeks where most of my clients, we are just working on bringing not just bringing the spirit back into the body, the higher self to the body, but we're bringing the body to a place of safety to open and allow that receiving of the higher self. And so my own journey is so reflective of that. And that is something that in this moment, I'm actually feeling a lot of gratitude for, because I understand that I need to feel it, to experience it, to walk through it, to be able to share that and teach that, to empower, to help and support others. And it's really interesting. Just in this moment, I am feeling a lot of gratitude for that, because I haven't actually recognized that. And I think that sometimes we treat our bodies with a bit of disdain and frustration and separation. And our beautiful body is holding our spirit, is holding our higher self. It is keeping us here. It is functioning without any conscious awareness. And it's something that we could offer a little bit more love to. And so that is just why I feel so drawn to be really clear about the union of mind, body, and soul, spirit, higher self, whatever you refer to it as in the work that I do. And so, my body this week, story time, my body has really been fighting me. And I knew that, and I know that, because this has been a long-term journey, and we have a long-term relationship. And my mind, my ego. And it's been really interesting, actually, because it's been a great experience to witness my ego and to feel that, to connect to, okay, what's really going on here? What's the fear here? Why is my inner critic, that ego voice, why is there a tantrum? Why are they, why am I feeling that the world is attacking me? And it was a great opportunity to really walk my talk in what I share with clients, and what I often will be talking about in platforms such as this, to really observe that and to witness that with some curiosity. And there were moments it got the better of me, and I'm proud of myself in that there was some times that I wanted to react to other people or other situations, and I was recognizing that it wasn't actually about them or the situation. This was really about me and what I was feeling. And so I just kept pulling myself inward and kept having that conversation, and I let myself feel. Sometimes I looked in the mirror and I spoke to myself and I cried, or I got angry. Sometimes I just felt it. I just felt it through every fiber of my being and just kept breathing as much as I could. And, it was a bit of a bumpy ride. And I will say that my body is very good at throwing a headache my way. That has always been a very strong physiological response, because it tends to shut me right down, because I don't want to take action, or not that I don't want to, that's probably not the right word, but I find it hard. And I'm sure, some of you can relate if you've experienced headaches or migraines, that's the intensity to which it comes to. It's like I need to be in the dark, or I feel nauseous. It really overcomes me. And even though now that I'm more aware of what is happening, it is still hard to navigate that sometimes and to have that conversation, because then you've got the ego, right? That little inner critic and the judgmental voice sitting on my shoulder, just whispering incessantly in my ear. And it was interesting too, because it was a bit of I will say that my higher self was definitely present, and she was keeping the calm, the peace as much as possible, and bringing me back into practice, into ritual, into the things that help me feel in connection, in alignment to what I am here for and who I am. But it was a very tough, long week. And when I got to the point of stepping into these spaces to co-create and to support in leadership, it was like everything else just melted away. And, my higher self and my heart just opened and expanded, and everything just dropped away. And I knew that I'd stayed the course and I had almost passed the test, if you like, that there was so much resistance from my mind and my body to step not just into new spaces, not just into change or into vulnerability, but to really feel into more of my true self, to feel into more of expressing my true self and standing in that and taking action in alignment with that, rather than, the previous versions of myself would have said no, would have cancelled or would have pulled out or would have just avoided it at all costs, avoided it altogether. And this was such a turning point. And coupled with that, I think, this building in the collective energy, particularly as we came into the new moon. But I think that for many of us too are really feeling that call and that pull. And I've noticed even coming through in sessions, the high selves of my clients are all saying, like, it's time, you're ready, it's time. And we're really being invited to step through the fear and to choose love, essentially. And that is something that I think is not as easy to do as it is to say. And why I wanted to share this story is to let you know that this is how it is. This is how it can be. And my theme for this year has been really finding effortlessness and ease and flow. And I keep reminding myself of that. That's the state of being that I'm choosing. That is the connection to life that I am choosing and the communion with life that I'm choosing. And so even in those difficult moments, it was reminding myself that I'm choosing effortlessness and I'm choosing ease, I'm choosing flow. And that doesn't mean that it's always going to feel comfortable. It doesn't mean it's always going to be rainbows and butterflies. But I really wanted to share that too, because I think that sometimes I find people say to me, or actually seem surprised, that I'm still moving through some of these things, or that I'm still working through things, or you always look so calm, or this, that, or the other. And I guess that's why this is a great way for me to share some of that with you as well, to let you know that everybody is moving through something. And while we don't always see what that is, that there is fear almost, or in some cases, there can be fear almost every day in some shape or form. And it's how we choose to relate to that. It's how we choose to feel about that, and what action we choose to take. And I feel so empowered now that I've come out of that on the other side. And my confidence, my self-confidence, my belief in myself has just grown exponentially just through this experience. And there's so many layers to that. Even as I'm sharing this story with you, that I'm feeling into how many beautiful ways that life gave me experiences and opportunities to just see how much I have grown and changed, and how that in itself is how I can be empowered in self-confidence and self-trust and self-belief. And that was something that I had really found lacking, was this confidence, trust, and belief. They're the three key words, I think. And it was interesting because when I was feeling into what I wanted to share here this week, as I said at the start, and I was thinking about this experience, and I was thinking about how I felt, and I was thinking about how my body and my mind, by me choosing the action, by staying the course and just following the path of love rather than fear, and just how that almost the weak fell away, the resistance in my body and my mind fell away. And it was almost like, oh, that was a big sigh, a big relief. And like, oh, there is peace here. Oh, there can be peace here. And I'm just going to dive straight into it. I had this dream. I'm not even sure if this is going to link as well as I would like it to, but I had this dream where I had a vision about this storm, a crazy, violent kind of storm, like intense storm, like a tornado or hurricane or something to that intensity. Because I remember that I was with my daughter at the time, and I just had this vision about this storm, and I said to her, "There's a storm coming." And then it flashed into me driving my car alone, and I was driving down this big road with a big overpass kind of over the top of me, and like I was in the midst of the hurricane. And it was windy, and there were things blowing everywhere. Like I was somewhat fearful because I was driving in the midst of this, and from the overpass above, I could see this big sign had fallen off the side and was dangling down, and I could see that it was falling, and it was falling in the pathway of where I was driving. Now, typically at this point in a dream like this, I would have stopped myself and woken myself up. I've got very good at doing that. But there was something different that I felt in this moment. As much as there was all of this chaos, all of this fear swirling around me, swirling around the car, I knew I needed to keep driving. I knew I was okay and it was safe for me to keep driving. And the sign came down and it sort of fell to pieces, but it kind of fell all over me, all over the car actually. And then I kept driving. And then I realized that I'd come to a point where I'd driven off the edge of the road, and it was like the car was jumping over like a waterway, and I could see the land on the other side. Again, typically another moment where I would panic and I would wake myself up, and that would be that. But as the car, which was interesting now I think about it, because I was jumping in the car and there was this moment where it just hung in the air. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to make it. I need to do something. And I started to flap my arms like wings, which I'm laughing now because I'm thinking, how could I get from the car to there? But I was flapping my arms like wings, and I could feel the momentum start to pick up. And I remember having this thought, like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it to the edge. And so I just kept moving my arms like wings and sort of making my way. I could feel myself making my way. And in an instant, there was a huge whoosh, and I mean huge, and it was a whoosh. It was like that sound where I just felt myself picked up and drawn up and pulled upwards. And there was no word spoken. There was no other vision that came with that dream. But in that moment, I knew that spirit had my back. I knew that spirit had caught me and taken me, and that I wasn't falling. And intuitively, almost telepathically, and I'm still asleep at this point, but I knew this was spirit saying I'd taken the leap. I'd taken the leap of faith, and I was safe. I was supported. I had been caught. I'd been held. And I almost felt this sense of understanding that it was about having the faith to take the leap. So rather than thinking, we often hear about taking the leap of faith, but I felt like Spirit wanted me to know that I'd had faith, I'd taken the leap, and I'd been supported. And it felt like this reward in the sense of recognition for doing that, for taking that action. And I when I woke up, I was recalling it just so vividly, and I really felt, the only thing I can say is I really felt this intense, almost recognition from my higher self, from my guides, from Spirit, just from my team collectively, my soul and star family, from the Creator. I was just so held. I was just so supported. And it was this invitation to lean into that, to keep taking the leap with the faith. Have faith, take the leap. You'll be caught, you'll be rewarded, you'll be recognized for that. And it felt like that even though there'd been fear for me in doing that, I had faith. I had faith that I was on the right path, or the right road in this case, right? Like, I really did know that I just had to keep driving and I could drive through it and that it was okay. I didn't need to turn to run away. I didn't even look for any of those options. It was, to be honest, it didn't even feel like it wasn't even a question. I was just going straight ahead. And even when I went, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to drop. I'm going to fall. There was something in me that just immediately started using my arms as wings and was like, no, I can keep going. I've got this. I can keep going. And so when I woke up, it was this interesting reflection into also self-trust and self-belief and faith. I want to say faith now that I'm really feeling into that word. It was faith in myself, faith that I knew that I could do it, faith that I knew that the fear didn't have to be fear. The fear didn't have to block me, to hold me back. And I say all of this with full awareness that tomorrow there'll be something that does invite fear to pop up, whether that be through my mind, my body, through life. But I feel that this was an opportunity to really see and bring into my awareness the path forward with conscious, clear choice. As if you listen to the 2023 energy, the guidance. If not, go back and listen to that one, where Spirit were really sharing this focus about conscious, clear choice and choosing love over fear, because recognizing that the human experience is going to create that fear, and our mind, our brain is just doing what it thinks it needs to do. It's thinking that it needs to protect us. It doesn't know the finite difference between, a threat, between danger, and just being stressed because you're late to pick the kids up, or you're missing a deadline at work, or you have multiple tasks to do and not enough time. That's still eliciting the same response as you running across the road in front of a bus and having to run a little bit faster. Or the tiger. We all love that one, don't we? The tiger chasing you. So what I really feel like is just sharing something here, just in support of feeling your fear, sitting with your fear, connecting with what the fear is. Could it be simply that, like myself, there was vulnerability there because I was sharing, parts of myself in ways that I hadn't done before, and that I was being asked to trust in myself, to speak, to teach, to lead, to guide in new communities. I had to trust in myself and what I was receiving. I had to sit with emotion that was being triggered by other people and by experiences that was actually not real. My mind, the ego, that inner voice, the inner critic, the perfectionist, whatever your voice might be, was trying to create some drama, some trouble to distract me from what was really there, to distract me from my path, to distract me from what was real, and that was love, that was faith, that was trust, self-belief, self-confidence, and ultimately from revealing my true self, from revealing that authenticness that I am desiring to stand in, to lead, to guide, to be in this year and always now. So I invite you just to take a deep breath in and sigh out, letting the body soften under that exhale as you release down into the base of the spine, releasing down through the legs, allowing the breath on the exhale to flow into the earth beneath your feet. And just taking a few breaths, simply breathing in and breathing out. Because let me tell you, this is one of the most powerful things you can do in moments of fear, in moments of emotion, intensity. You breathe from the belly, breathing up to your heart, allowing that inhale to touch the heart space, and breathing down, even if that is purely into the base of the spine, your sit bones, into the base chakra. And if you can, extending that down, that exhale down all the way through the legs, through the soles of the feet, down into our beautiful Mother Gaia. And I invite you to just connect with, in this moment, any fear that is popping up. And that fear might come in the guise of overwhelm, stress, anxiety, anger, frustration, sadness. And if there isn't any fear, just stay with the breath. As we call in our higher selves, our I am presence. As you're breathing down the beautiful golden white light of your higher self, your I am presence. Neo shigare shigamoye tokushu shumanair tekiera. Zikutro shikitoro mae jogienai sakatai jomanai. Feeling the beautiful light drawing through the crown of your head, the crown chakra, feeling that come down on the breath, And as you're inhaling at that heart space, just receiving the light, the love, your I am presence, your higher self. Allowing it to fill your heart space, to fill the chest. Breathing and receiving with the exhale, allowing the exhale to continue to drop through the body. But I'm feeling so many of you are dry. You're well, your cups are so dry. So allow this nourishment, receiving the light, the love of your higher self, your I am presence. Allow it to fill, see it filling your heart space with the breath. You might even feel the need to just kind of move the upper part of your body, your shoulders, your chest, just kind of rotating the upper body, just gently side to side, just receiving and allowing. We invite the mind, the conscious and unconscious mind, and the physical body, the cells within your physical body to all open, to soften, to feel safe, to receive this essence, this light, this love of your higher self, your I am presence. Inviting in the soothing, cooling, refreshing, nurturing light and love. Starting to feel that fullness returning to your heart space. Starting to feel as though your cup, your inner well is filling up, is brimming with this beautiful light and love of the essence of your I am presence. And dear ones, allowing that to flow over and through your body now, allowing that overflow just to effortlessly flow through the rest of your body, allowing your breath to continue, allowing the exhale to support the travel of this breath and your essence right through the body, extending up through the chest, the shoulders, down the arms and the fingertips, tingling in the palms of the hands and up through the top of the head, really feeling that flow as it's coming in through the crown and breathing out down the body, feeling the flow down through the abdomen, the back, the hips, right down into the base of your spine. Feeling the peace and the soothing energy that comes from the presence of your higher self, your I am. And letting that flow to tingle all the way down your legs, allowing it to flow right through the soles of the feet, down into the earth, just planting that beautiful essence and light and love of your I am presence. Nihao shokoro menai sho izatarish katamai jo otoshono. Aero kotoji kataero menai Breathing, and as you exhale, feeling the fullness of the body. It might even feel a little heavier than when you first began. But feeling that fullness taking shape, almost like a column of light now extending from the top of the head down through the body and down into the earth, down into our beautiful planet Gaia. And you may like to stay in this state, communing with your highest self, your I am, and allowing the body and the mind just to receive, just to be soothed, held, and nurtured. Allowing any fear, if you tapped into any fear as we began this, noticing how it is just dissipated under the light and the love, the essence of your highest self, your I am. As you feel into this beautiful alignment of mind, body, spirit, and just receive. Thank you, beautiful souls, for sharing in this story with me and this wonderful connection and receiving of our higher selves, our I am presence. With gratitude and love, I thank our higher selves for guiding this little journey. And I thank you for co-creating and being here in this space of the Sacred Light Collective with me. The light, the love, the divinity within me honors the light, the love, the divinity within you. Namaste.